In the Trenches with Ryan Roxie.
For a guy that's never drank or done drugs, because you said that on stage last night, is that true?
Yes, I've never had a sip of alcohol. I've never had a cigarette. Uh, I've certainly inhaled enough secondhand marijuana smoke at various comedy rooms. Uh, but my insides are pretty pure. I'm like a smaller version of Kane Roberts.
Well, we're going to talk about Kane as well, because you do, my friend, you do have a really close knit relationship with not just heavy metal, not just hard rock, 80s rock, but the Alice Cooper band in particular. You even brought the bear to prove it. So even though you've never drank or done drugs or anything like that, you were very inspirational in having me and my buds drink and drink even more because we were enjoying the show so much when we saw you last night up at the store right on Sunset Boulevard. There you are performing the comedy. No, that's not the Comedy Store, but it's some sort of stage somewhere. But my question to you was actually not my question, my comment. Thank you very much for inviting us out to the show. It kicked ass. You did great last night. It was really great.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I was really nervous before last night because I got to see you perform
On
Sunday night
the
at the
yeah,
Greek, and I was like, they showed me such a good time. I mean, you guys killed it, and Ace was great before you guys, but I was there to see you guys, Anita and everyone else, and I was like, Jesus, I hope I don't bomb in front of these guys because when you go on last at the Comedy Store, it's a tough spot because you know you're following every comic that was on before me is on TV, movies, Joe Rogan's podcast. So you have to get the crowd within the first minute or they leave by the dozen.
yeah. That's the thing. They've been there pretty much for a couple hours, they've watched a lot of comedy and they're looking for their exit because nobody wants to be disrespectful and leave right during a show. But it's not like a rock show where you can sort of leave in the darkness and sort of just fade out in the darkness. So when you're the last band on, it just thins like, the top of my hair or whatever. And it just thins really gradually. At the Comedy Store, if you go on last, people are making a beeline before you actually start telling jokes. But then you made a good thing about it because more people actually started filing in to fill those seats with the few people that did. They didn't bail. They were just. I just feel that you get beat up by comedy, and it's hard going on last, like you said.
Oh, it's brutal. A lot of people would consider, oh, you're headlining. And it's like, no, that's going on last. Uh, but like the guy who went on before me, Ian Edwards, he's had multiple Netflix specials, Rogan's podcast multiple times, late night, many late night comedy appearances. So he's very tough to follow. And the girl before him, same thing, multiple late night spots on TV. So I think when they here's the last comic, it's like, oh, they must not be very good. We'll give him or her 1 minute, and then we look where the exits are, and we make like Carl Lewis out of the blocks.
Well, I can assure you, dude, you were so good last night, and I was laughing the whole time. I actually made a sound effect that you had to incorporate into the bit because I actually had my rings on and I made this stupid sound like I was laughing so hard I pounded on the table and you were like, is the building coming crashing down or something like that? So I mean, it is like for a band playing my on a 3 bill band, because I feel you, the middle slot is always the best. And
Yes.
when we did that final Motley Crue tour, when it was, whether it was the Raskins, or that we had opening as the band, and then Alice Cooper would go on, and then Motley would go on as they are legitimate headliners, of course, but that sweet spot is that middle slot. Is that the same with comedy?
Yeah, and like, because you guys are so good live, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, you guys really are an amazing band. Even a band like Motley Crue, I'm sure struggles a little bit in the first couple songs because you guys leave a hard act to follow, and even for Motley Crue, it's tough to follow. So, in comedy, you don't want to go on first because they're still getting their drink orders and settling in, getting the layout of the room, so they're not really focused on you yet. And then, going on last, like last night, I think there were 12 comics on the show, so it's a little different. You know, they're tired. They've heard every crowd work question. They've heard every political joke, every modern event joke. So you have
Yeah.
to hit them in the head with a hammer that first minute, or they'll just leave because they're tired. And especially on a work night, I'm assuming most people from last night had to get up this morning and work. So they're looking for any excuse you give them to leave.
But guess what, man? Out of those 12 comics there last night, I know of only one that has his name on the Comedy Store wall. That's like a Faster Pussycat reference, right?
I
You
love it.
you got your name on the Comedy Store wall.
I mean,
I
it's
love it.
I don't know what the music equivalent would be. Maybe getting your handprints at the Guitar Center or something of that nature, or I guess the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, that's how. I mean, the Comedy Store is the #1 club in the world, um, and every comic from New York to LA to the UK to Canada, anywhere in the world, they want their names on that wall. So the only thing I can equate it to that I think people would get is it's like getting your name on the Stanley Cup in hockey. Like, it's never taken off. My name will be in the front of that building because I had to wait so long to get past. My name is literally in the front of the building because that was the only place left to put the names. Um,
I'm Ryan Roxie, and I've taken all my years of experience of playing guitar, and I want to pass the torch of rock and roll on to you. Check out the System 12 Guitar Method.